Coming up on this episode of Club Scene Chatroom, we chat with the wonderful Ameya of Ameya's Realm about figuring out what she wanted to do after high school, building a following of over 100,000 people on Instagram, and running a business on her own. This is episode 27. Hello everybody and welcome back to Club Scene Chatroom. This is the podcast by two creatives that has nothing to do with clubbing of the violent or party kind. I'm Rochelle, but today I'm entering the chat room as snakes on a train.
Hi, I'm Joëlle and I'll be entering the chat room as Candlestick.
Oh shit.
And we have a guest today. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, hi, I'm Ameya and I'll be entering the chat room as Ladybird.
Nice.
Yes, today we have a wonderful guest. Do you want to just tell for anyone who may not know who you are, just about who you are, what you do?
So I'm Ameya again, and I'm an artist and I have a small business where I sell my art and products to do with my art. And I also make music and I love writing and photography and anything creative.
So yeah, we know Ameya because Ameya and I actually went to primary school together in New Zealand. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? All those years ago.
Yeah, we've been friends for like 12 years or something insane.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
Probably more actually.
I can't do math.
Congratulations.
How old were we when we met?
Probably more, hey?
Probably like 7 or 8. Do you think?
What
Yeah,
year?
what year?
Like prep or?
No, maybe after
maybe
that.
a little bit
because
later,
we did go to the same school, but we didn't actually become friends and
True.
meet each other till
Yeah.
year 4 or 5.
Yeah.
It's still like...
Which how old
Oh,
are
I
you
guess,
then?
Oh, which is like year 3 or 4 here, right?
Which is yes, exactly. Yeah, because in New Zealand you start school 1 year earlier.
Yeah, that's right.
And yeah, but you end at the same time. We just go up to year 13 instead of 12. Yeah, I don't know. Someone do the math for us. Cool, thanks.
Yeah. A long time.
A long
I don't know
time.
Like
when
more
that
than
was.
half our lives.
Yeah. And then at high school, we split different ways. So I moved to Singapore and you...
Moved to Melbourne.
Yeah, and so then I decided... Well, actually, yeah, so I wasn't there for how you grew in high school, and there was this period where we were away from all our childhood friends, in really formative years. You change
Yeah.
and grow a lot in high school, right? So yeah, we kind of wanted to know what was your last year or years in high school like, and how did that sort of inform / how did you make the decision of what you were going to do after high school, and what was that decision as well?
Yeah.
You know?
Pretty much my whole life I've loved visual art and music. Those are kind of the two main things in my life. And it's kind of been this constant switching between the two. 1 year I'll be a bit more interested in music, and then the next year I'll be a bit more interested in visual art.
Yeah.
And it's just been switching between these two things through primary school and high school. And then towards the end of high school I was I think I was a bit more into music.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know why. It just keeps switching. It's just once I've kind of had enough, not enough, but I just feel moving into something a bit different.
Yeah,
and
I
it just
feel
ends
that.
up being those two things constantly.
Yeah. I feel sorry, I was just gonna say because also within creativity, into different things, and even just in life, we're all into different things. It's
Yeah.
you find one thing, you kind of get fixated on it, and you want to discover more about it, and then you get really into it, and then you're kind of over it, and so you go to another thing, and I can get how you just bounce back between the two.
But it's always creative. I always need a creative outlet, but it just changes whether that's visual or sound. And yeah, so I was doing 4 art subjects in my VCE.
Damn.
I didn't even do that many.
Yeah, I was one of the only ones, I think. So I had a lot of scaling down, which was sad, but
Yeah.
yes, I did vet music, viscom, media, and studio arts. And
That's so cool.
it was a lot of fun. It was it was great to end high school in that way. So yeah, I was into all those things in a really big way. But trying to decide what I wanted to do after that was quite difficult because like I know that my interest keeps changing, like
Yeah.
I can't just like stick to this one thing. So I ended up I went on a gap year after high school, and that was kind of through my high school. They do like this program where every year like about like 6 year 12 students get chosen to go to like a boarding school in the UK, and they work there as like gaps, which is just like teacher assistant and like working in the boarding school and stuff. So I did that, and that was like an amazing experience, like just being away for a year after high school, and like getting to like really experience living in a new way, kind of living on my own, even though I had some friends with me, and traveling a lot. Like I traveled to over like 20 countries in Europe over that year. And then that year,
crazy.
it was, that's all I want to do now. It's like travel, make art, make music. And so that year I had like a lot of time to myself, and a lot of time to like introspect and like work on my hobbies and my creative side. So that year I did a lot of like writing and visual art. Like I painted a lot that year, and I hadn't done much painting before then. So I got really into like visual at that point, even though just before then I was like really into music. And I was planning on doing it.
Study music.
I was planning on studying music, even though I wasn't 100% sure on that. But so I actually started my Etsy shop back then on the gap year, and I made like no sales the entire year. But it was fine because I was I was enjoying what I was doing.
I was having fun.
Yes, that's the most important. Yeah,
exactly.
And then so I did end up like going with a music industry degree. That's what my course is, and it's at RMIT. And I deferred that, and so I went into that after the gap year. And
so
that was
you like applied and you got into it.
And
then you
so
went
I
on your
actually
gap
skipped
year.
that.
No, I was just
but I wasn't like 100% set on that either. It was kind of just like, okay, if nothing else, I'll end up doing this.
Right.
But that was mainly because like I think you mentioned this on like another podcast, that like it was kind of just like I wanted to learn more about music and the music industry, and I felt like that was an area that I could really like grow like through uni, as opposed to like art is something that I find is quite like personal, and it's just like
and
expressive.
You're able to explore it already by yourself.
True. Whereas like music, I feel like there was a lot I could still learn, and so that's kind of the main reason I ended up going with music, and I was like a little bit more interested in it at that time. So like after I started my Etsy shop and got into the first semester of the music degree, I like ended up publishing a book of like all my like thoughts and reflections and stuff during the gap year. And so then I kind of reintroduced my Etsy shop at that point, and
And
from
what is
then
the book called?
the book's called Let Go, Insights of Infinity.
Oh, yes.
And so that was kind of like the first main product on my shop. And then I just decided I really wanted to build on that, and throughout the course of that year I was like really working on building a brand and growing my business and shop while doing music at uni. So I kind of had the best of both.
Cool.
I mean, because your like business kind of like is like really like widely known, I feel like, and it's like, like you kind of like skyrocketed. Was that like your goal, or like do you think that's like what you're doing because of that, or did you like aim for that to happen, or like
like was it planned?
Did you plan to like really have such a huge audience, or was that something that you like wanted, or like if you did, like how did you like go about trying to reach that?
Well, like I definitely liked the idea of like having like an audience where I could like
have a platform.
Platform.
To share,
Exactly. Like I think a lot of people want that. Like I don't know, just like as a creative person, like I really want to be able to reach as many people as possible with my work.
I mean that's like the vibe.
So I guess I didn't like really set out to have like a certain amount of followers or anything like that. But I just knew that if I can kind of grow an audience, then that's like a great way for me to be able to almost like sustain myself through what I love doing, like kind of create a job for myself even before I'm out of uni or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess the main thing was like understanding Instagram and like learning how that can be used in a way to build a brand.
Yeah, actually, it was interesting because I don't know if you remember this, but so when Ameya got back from her gap year, we finally got to like hang out as people both living in Melbourne. And I remember you saying something about like after all your like travels and stuff, like actually wanting to get off social media. So at the time you had a Instagram account called Ameya's Gap. Or I don't know, because it's the same account with different name. Where you're posting like your travel photography and all that beautiful stuff. And then I remember we had some sort of like conversation about like, oh, like I don't want to be on social media anymore. But then it kind of
That's interesting. I
changed
forgot
me.
about that.
When you started posting art though, I think it became like, obviously you can speak because it's you, but like maybe it changed to like from a personal thing to like a business thing.
For sure. That's true.
Yeah.
I remember that switch actually. Well, like even in high school, I actually got rid of all, like I just woke up this one morning in like year 9 or year 10 and I was like, I need to get rid of all my social media. And I just like deleted everything that day. Like I deactivated my Facebook, deleted Snapchat, deleted Instagram and whatever else I had. Kept YouTube though because that was like a creative space.
And you also don't check like YouTube in terms of your own like channel all the time. Like you just put it up there and you chill. You know?
Exactly. So yeah, when I like made a new Instagram account while I was in my gap year, that was like really just because I wanted to share like the photos I was taking on my travels because I was like really enjoying like capturing all of that, and because I was writing so much, I wanted to also share the writing in my captions. So like my book was pretty much just built from like my Instagram captions. So I think like I've always kind of been a bit iffy about social media. Like I haven't really been a fan of using it, especially in a personal way. But I kind of made this switch where I was like, okay, I'm going to use it in a way that is like, it's like almost like a website. So it's just my portfolio. It's just like my work. Like obviously it's still connected to me because like everything I create is like from me. But like I wanted it to be a bit more about like my work rather than about me specifically. And so I was able to use it in that way. Like I decided I wanted to do a drawing every single day, like just one a day, and like post one a day and kind of have like a schedule, like make it feel more like a job. I don't know, like I guess that's
like
really,
a routine and with like a set task or something.
Yeah, for sure. And like I really wanted to feel like I already it was already my job, or like I already had like an audience that wanted to see what I was drawing every day, you know? So that was like really useful, like in creating kind of consistency of my brand like online. And I think that was like a big part of the way my page grew as well.
Actually, do you want to like speak more to that? Because I think a lot of people listening would be fascinated on how like you went about and like things that worked or things that you've been like finding in trying to build your platform, and also like how does that happen? Because obviously it's different for everyone. So like how did it happen for you, you know?
Yeah, it's such a strange thing because like I feel like I could give tips or something, but I don't really know if like I don't really know what worked and what didn't, because it's partly like luck and just like right place, the right time kind of thing. But like Instagram definitely does have tools that are like designed to help people like get their work out there, like hashtags and stuff. It's like, you know, a way for people to find your work. Like that kind of thing. And I was like kind of trying to learn about how it works and like how I could just get my work seen by the most amount of people. And so I was using hashtags. I was like figuring out what kind of hashtags like actually help. And consistency was like a really big thing. Like I wanted my feed to just be really like just the one style kind of thing. Like,
You
and it
go
doesn't
there
have
and
to
you
be.
know what
know
to
what you're gonna
expect.
get.
Yeah. And it doesn't always have to be like that for sure. But I guess even if I had like photos in there or anything else, it would still kind of be of a similar aesthetic. And I personally just like seeing like my page having a similar aesthetic. It's just like satisfying as well.
Yeah.
So,
Totally.
and like it doesn't stop me from, you know,
Doesn't limit your creativity.
for sure.
Which
Yeah.
is great.
Yeah, because no matter what I create, even if it's like kind of like different color scheme or something, it's still kind of within the same like style and stuff.
Realm.
So
Ameya's
within the
realm.
same yeah. So yeah, Ameya's realm is supposed to encapsulate like just everything that I create and like everything that I love, like kind of in one. It's like my world.
Yeah.
So and like my name Ameya means infinity, so it's like
Just so
like
fucking
an
beautiful.
infinite
Yeah.
realm of just like creativity and possibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, where was I going? What did I?
Oh,
get
just
up
like
to?
growing, I don't know,
Yeah.
consistency.
Yeah, consistency. Yeah, like posting regularly. Because like
How often do you post? Sorry to interrupt.
it's changed a bit now, but like yeah, back then it was like I wanted to post at least once a day.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which can be like it can be quite difficult. Like you
Yeah.
really have to sit down and like it takes up quite a bit of time to
Yeah.
even like captions and like plan what kind of all that stuff. But now I post kind of maybe every 3 days or so. I'm trying to post more though, but it's hard. It does take time.
Yeah, for sure.
Posting regularly because I find that the more you post, like I guess just the more opportunity you have.
Right, for people to
like,
find your work.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, it's strange even now. Like if I don't post for like a week, like I get so many unfollows. So many people unfollow me.
Really?
It's kind of weird.
That's so fascinating.
Yeah.
How that works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like you're like, I didn't get a post from me. This
Unfollow.
Yeah. Or maybe it's just like
A lot of people follow then just unfollow.
yeah. In general, probably a lot of
That's
people
interesting.
unfollowing me like every day. But then when I don't post, it means that less people are following me.
Yeah,
Maybe
so the
that makes
balance
sense.
is like out of whack. Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Wow. That's really
That's actually so interesting. I never thought of that.
Yeah. I've just noticed that.
Yeah. What about like finding your audience? Like
Yeah.
how you found, because I feel like your work, because it is fairly like has a fairly defined aesthetic of like the colors or just like using the black and like white and like maybe silver or gold as sort of a base to your work, and then also the themes, like the sort of like ethereal spiritual sort of energy that your work has. I don't know, how did you sort of find like the like-minded people who would appreciate this these aspects of your work?
Yeah, I guess like it was pretty lucky because I think the whole cosmic style was starting to become popular around that time. Like it just happened to be that I was like really into it, and like it was also becoming popular just in like the mainstream, I guess. And well, I think like there is quite a big community of like spiritually minded people, people that are really interested in like self-exploration and introspection, and that was like what I'm all about and what I was all about when I was making my art as well. That was like really a reflection of, you know, my thoughts and like just like trying to understand myself, which is also like my book. And like my other products are all kind of linked to that. And that's why I love the whole cosmic theme as well, because it's all about kind of like the grand scheme of things, thinking about like perspective and just like how everything's connected and all that kind of stuff.
I like where you fit into it.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, it was really lucky because there were a few pages that were kind of getting quite big at the time that I was like really focusing on building my Instagram. And they like reposted my art, and that was like a really big thing to like get seen by more people.
Yeah, people who already are like appreciate and like are like-minded. Yeah,
for sure. And it was kind of like an astrology kind of page. That was, I mean, I'm not like personally that into astrology, but it is like the same kind of like theme and stuff.
For sure.
That was like a huge thing. And I think like there's like this one like time-lapse drawing that I did that somehow like it just, I think it probably got like a high, I don't know what the term
like
is.
Engagement?
But it was like on, like, what's the word? It was just like high up in the hashtag.
Oh,
page.
gotcha.
Yeah,
so
like
someone
somehow.
clicked on the hashtag and it comes with a page of all that posts.
Yeah,
it was like
yeah.
one of the top posts.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, or it was just like getting on a lot of people's explore page or something. But like that was like really random. That was like early on before my art got reposted by the other page or anything, and that suddenly got like a few thousand views, and like that was like way more than I was getting before.
Yeah.
It was like pretty exciting, and I was like, oh, okay, hashtags work.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you feel stupid doing them until they work.
Yeah, and like especially because I wanted it to be kind of like a website or like a portfolio.
It makes
like,
sense. You need to tag your work, categorize it.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that was like a big thing, and I noticed like I was getting seen by more people and like kind of gaining a following as my page was becoming more consistent with like the style and stuff. And yeah, I don't know, I guess it was just like little things that kind of just helped here and there that just accumulated into bigger. And then like I think once you really get the ball rolling, like it's great because like people keep finding you through other people, like people keep reposting your work, and it just gets shared and seen by more people, and it's amazing. As long as like I continue to like keep posting and like sharing good content.
Yeah, like the stuff that they like.
Yeah,
you do more of it.
Yeah.
Hey guys!
Hello!
We are jumping in here to announce that we have launched a coffee page.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Yeah. So what is it, Joelle?
Yeah, so it's basically a site where you can pretty much shout people a coffee.
Yeah.
Anyone who like is like doing something and you like want to support them.
Yeah.
And obviously like, we're creating this podcast out of our own pocket. So we're kind of just like looking for ways to just like create a community. And like if you do want to help us out,
Yeah, it's greatly appreciated.
just like put a couple of dollars in.
Yeah, exactly.
It's, like,
I mean,
super small.
Yeah, so yeah, obviously right now, given like what the world is going through, we are not going to be going out and buying coffees. We are going to be making ourselves some tea at home. But yeah, we love the idea of just, buying someone who you've enjoyed their work a coffee, and any money will be put right back into the podcast, hopefully we can eventually get some better equipment and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, we really do appreciate you guys, and if you do decide to support us in that way, that's just like we'll be so grateful. So
let's just continue to support each other during these times as well. Like everyone's going to be struggling a little bit.
Exactly.
But yeah, only do what you can.
Exactly. So if you do want to support us, you can go over to ko-fi.com/clubscene. That's ko-fi.com/clubscene, and you can just check out our page over there.
Woo! Let's reach out to each other. Have a great day.
Yeah, we love you guys.
Back to the podcast.
Okay, so we've talked about a little bit about how you like built your platform on social media, particularly on Instagram. So how did that you talked about you had your Etsy shop. How did that turn into growing a business? Yeah, I'm just gonna leave you with that. Go ahead.
So I already had my book like available on my Etsy shop, and that was kind of my only product for a while. But I people were interested in like getting prints, and so I was selling the originals as well of my drawings, because pretty much all of my drawings on Instagram are like black paper with metallic pens, and then I kind of make it look a bit digital just by like editing contrast and stuff on Photoshop.
Do you scan them in, or do you just like?
Oh, it's a photo. Yeah, photo.
Wow.
Yeah, but like I make it look kind of like a scan. So.
Yeah. No, it looks perfect. Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought.
So yeah, I just had my book, and then I started introducing like prints and the original drawings, and then I was like really keen to make like products out of like my art, and one big thing that I really wanted to make was like a deck of cards, which was like self-reflection cards. And so they have like prompts and questions just to like self-reflect, like good for journaling and good to just like pick up when you wake up in the morning or like before you go to bed kind of thing. It's like something that I really wanted.
Yeah, I was just gonna say like I should buy you one. I feel like you'd love that. Sorry.
I'll gift it to you. Yeah, like it was something that I really wanted and I wanted to make it. So
yeah, so you made it happen.
yeah, so that was something I was working on for like a few months. Like trying to decide on the paper and like kind of the box, and it was your idea to have tin boxes, and yeah, like that was a very great decision. Although I've had so many issues with like
Oh my god,
delivering tin
yes, well let's talk about that, like
Yeah.
the like learning curves of building a business, because before this you did Viscom, right?
Yeah.
But you like there was a lot to learn about like printing process, right?
Yeah.
Because I remember when we because we started to sort of like start a business that didn't go anywhere called Lime, and that was sort of
We were gonna start a podcast.
yeah, we were gonna start a podcast. It was gonna be called the Limecast, and we recorded like 1 or 2 episodes, and then nothing happened. So that turned into this. Yeah, I remember we were like talking about like why are prints so expensive, and do you remember that? And, like just figuring out how you're supposed to print things, price things, like how to
oh my
price
God,
your
I'm still
work.
struggling like 2 years
Yeah.
later.
So yeah, maybe you can speak to that. What were like the learning curves, experiences? You can talk about the tin box situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess pricing has been like such a difficult thing for me because it's all about like how much you value your own work, I think. Like and in the beginning I was selling originals for like half the price that I sell my prints.
Yeah.
Like I was selling it for very low prices because I just didn't realize that it is actually valuable. Yeah, especially original work is like so valuable because there's only one.
Yeah.
So I've just been like slowly increasing my prices, like pretty much with every original and like with every product. I'm kind of like understanding more and more like what is like, you know, like valuable, like how I can make my work seem valuable, but also have it at like an acceptable price, accessible, and so it's been like trying to find this balance for like quite a while, and I think I've kind of gotten to a stage where I'm like comfortable with prices, but I also do like a bit of like freelance design stuff, which I'm like so grateful to be doing as well. Like people just reaching out because you know, they want my style and stuff, which is like so great. And like in the beginning I was charging people like very, very low, very low. And now it's like gone a lot more just because like I value my own time more now, and like, you know, like there's so many things going on. I have to like value my own time to be able to like, like actually make this a job and like sustain myself doing this. But yeah, like an issue that I had Christmas time last year, because this was during my Christmas sale. Like my cosmic cards, which is the self-reflection deck, that like sold out a lot quicker than I was expecting. Which was like amazing, but I like wasn't really prepared. And so I ordered some more like tin boxes. I went to order more tin boxes at the place that I usually order them from, but they didn't have any in stock. So then I had to like find new places to get it. And it is available like, you know, on eBay and like online in like so many different ways. But either it was like really expensive, like one tin box was like $10.
Oh my
and like I know, it's ridiculous. Like how am I gonna actually make profit?
Yeah. Because how much is a deck of the cards? Like the whole like item.
Yeah, it's $44.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's got like 33 cards. And yeah, so I wasn't like sure if I should really like pay that much, because I had made it available for like kind of a pre-order, because it was a Christmas sale. I had to like make the most of and like, you know, allow people to actually buy the product at that time. So I ordered like some expensive tin boxes, and then I ordered like from like China, which were like cheaper, but it was going to take ages, and I wasn't like sure, you know, like when I would actually receive it, because it was just like, you know, 20 plus days. This is like plus.
They don't give you a time. You don't know.
Yeah, so like I was waiting on all these tin boxes to arrive, and this was a time when I was actually going to America on holiday, so I actually had to leave it with my parents, which was so sad. And it also meant that like the first half of my trip in America, I was just like every single night I would just like wouldn't sleep for like 2 hours, because I'll just be like on my emails, like trying to sort out like when the boxes will arrive, or like where I can get more. And because like they were constantly selling out. So, you know, like at least, you know, like a few dozen had been sold that I didn't even have to send. And I was like in this situation where I was like, I don't want to let these people down, and I want them to receive it for Christmas and stuff. And then like the biggest issue after all this was that as the boxes started arriving, they were all damaged. It was just, it was so sad. I had a really tough time. It's just like being in America, like trying to enjoy the trip.
And then just seeing this, like, there was this photo you posted on your story of the cardboard box of all the tin boxes in them, and there's just like dents in them.
Like massive dents. Like, it was like ridiculous. Not one box was like, at least from the one that came from China, the one that I waited so long for, it was like absolutely every single box was dented. And yeah, obviously I can't send that out to people. And I was like really struggling, like trying to find a way.
What did you do?
Somehow I was like, okay, you know what, I'm just going to email the people that I usually get my boxes from, and just like find out if there's a way that I can get it from them. And then they replied saying that they had the boxes available for like 3 weeks, but they just hadn't updated they hadn't put it on their website that it was in stock.
Oh my god.
That goes to show
So it was like,
always the answer.
Yeah, it was like bittersweet, because I was like, yay, finally I'm gonna get boxes, but I was like after all this time.
Yeah.
And like leaving my parents with it, they were amazing. They went out like to stores trying to find like the same boxes. Like they did so much work, and I'm like, so grateful for everything they did. And I had to put them through that while I was away. But yeah, eventually it was sorted, and like I ended up, you know, upgrading shipping for the people that I was sending it out late for, and all that kind of stuff. So it worked out kind of. But there's always these kinds of like
things that you can't predict. Like you don't think getting into it, those kind of problems will arise, but they inevitably will.
Yeah, because I'd even like ordered a decent amount of boxes like before. Like I thought I was prepared, but I actually wasn't. So it's like you never know. Yeah, and I guess like in general there have been like times since I started the business that I've felt like it's been going downhill, or like I haven't really, I don't know, there have been so many ups and downs. Like I'm really, really grateful that I'm like at this position, and like that I like, you know, can make money from what I love doing and everything. But somehow like in many ways it's become quite difficult. I don't know, like because now when I make art, it's linked to my business. Like it's not as much of an outlet as it was before. Like
it's
obviously
like
I still
for someone else.
It's definitely still like for myself as well, but it's also for someone else.
Right.
And like, you know, I do feel like I have to keep drawing to like keep sharing, and like it really like does make people happy as well. Like you know, reading the comments, like I want people to like see my art.
Expectation.
And so sometimes I really have to kind of force myself to sit down and draw, like which is fine, like that's not really an issue. But I think just running a business like all by yourself gets really tough, because there's just so many like behind the scenes things, like so many things to manage. Like admin is a huge thing that I've been trying to like get my dad to help. Like he's kind of my business advisor. And my mom really helps out with my Etsy orders, and Ramsey does as well sometimes. Which
Who's Ramsey? Yeah.
Ramsey's my boyfriend. So like admin is a huge thing. Like there's actually so much involved. Like
Yeah, so like what
Yeah.
what is yeah, what
well,
is
like
that?
emails mainly, I guess. And like I do get quite a few emails a day. So I have to kind of sit down and like give that time, put aside time for that.
What kind of emails? Like what are you getting?
It's mostly to do with like collaborations and like licensing artworks to use for like other people's
Projects and
products
stuff,
and
yeah.
like it's all awesome stuff. But and also for commissions, I forgot about that.
Yeah. Awesome. Sorry,
So-
we're on very squeaky stools, as you may have heard by now.
It's really hard to
Yeah.
avoid.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, like often I have to make contracts and like a lot of like legal stuff as well, which I just really did not expect. Yeah, like a lot of contracts, working with other businesses and them licensing artworks and all that kind of stuff. And just like little things like preparing the files and all that kind of stuff. It really takes time. Like so much stuff like just takes up time that you wouldn't expect. And then other than that, I think like it's the social media management stuff actually takes a lot of time as well. Like I really put in a lot of time into my posts and yeah, like even just editing the image that I like of my drawing, like it does take time. Sometimes like, you know, it can take like an hour or two to even just like prepare a post. And then like I've got my website and my Etsy store. Yeah, like so doing the orders and responding to messages, like sorting out like delivery issues and like going to the post office and posting it, packaging and yeah, like ordering stuff. I don't know, it's just like all the stuff, like little things.
Yeah,
that
it's like you think,
realize.
oh, I'm just gonna order my stuff, then I'll have all the supplies I need, and then it's like, well, but you get more orders, so then you have to order more stuff, and then you have to fulfill it. It's just like it's like an ongoing chain.
Yeah. Just like so many little things, I think. Yeah. And this is why like businesses have multiple people like doing the different jobs.
Totally. Yeah, you're doing it all by yourself.
Yeah, it's like put on a lot of different hats and like do lots of different things. But very grateful that I'm doing this. But yeah, it does get really tough. Like especially last year, I was really struggling like with full-time uni, and it was kind of like a full-time job as well. So it was like I was just so busy. I didn't have any time to myself, like to just like sit still and like relax. I was just like non-stop stressed and just really sad because I was like so stressed and anxious all the time. So, but it's getting better.
Yeah, because you were at uni. Did you find any like ways of like balancing the two? Like, did you have like days that you were like, I'm gonna dedicate this day to doing art, or like I'm gonna study in this day, or like did it just kind of do what you can when you need to?
I tried, like I really tried. I'm always trying like to create like a weekly kind of schedule so that it's all I mean, that's the thing, like with a business it's 24/7. Like like I'll be responding to messages when I'm like in bed about to go to sleep, and it'll be about something kind of annoying, like, you know, like something getting lost in the mail or something. You know, there's always something going on, and like even with my posts, I try and post at a time where like you know, the most amount of people will be online, and usually that's like not a convenient time for me because a huge amount of my audience is like from America and Europe.
Which is like so fascinating.
Yeah, I think it's only like 6% or something, which is Australia. So
wow,
it's like 30 or 40%.
Like that's so interesting to me because obviously like I don't have the audience you do, but yeah, the people who do care about the shit that I do, it's like almost all Australia. Yeah, so it's really fascinating.
Yeah, I guess it can be kind of an issue with like shipping then, because there's like more ways that it can go wrong.
But international.
And it's like more expensive for the buyers as well. But what was I saying before?
Oh, balancing like uni and stuff. So
I keep like, trying. So I keep like trying to build like a schedule, but it keeps changing. Like my priorities keep changing like week to week. So like one week uni will be more important because it's like the end of a semester or something. So I have to give that more time. And then other than that, like maybe I'll be working on a project that I really want to like release soon. Like because I also have my music, and I'm working on that like a lot as well, and like that's also important to me and like a priority. So like yeah, it's really hard to balance. Like that's the main thing that I struggle with for sure. So like every week I kind of try and make a new schedule and try to follow that, but then usually it's like I either burn out because I'm trying to do too much or like
you feel like you're not doing enough.
Yeah, exactly. It's so I have a problem with like productivity. I'm pretty sure I've talked about this, and like you talked about it on your podcast as well. Yeah, the pressure to like be productive all the time.
Well, I think particularly like because I mean, so that was like the first episode of the podcast. Was we were talking about the pressure to be productive.
I cried when I listened to that. I like resonated with it so much. I was like, I need to sort my life out.
Yeah, and we recorded that like middle of last year. And when did you start your business?
Like it really started to pick up like end of 2018.
Yeah, cool. So like about a year and a bit ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like for me personally, I feel like I've let go of a lot of those pressures a lot. But for you, because it's now you have like very much like external pressures.
Yeah,
and even though
like it's personal expectation as well to like keep going and like because I've come this far kind of thing.
Yeah,
like,
right.
I want it to still be there. And
and it's like, how do you you like, I've built this amazing thing. Okay, I need to keep it going, and like, how do I like, what's the next step? Yeah. And especially, you know, we were talking about a bit about this like when the camera turned off, but like because you have like integrity, and this whole business has come from a place of like a genuine foundation of passion and sharing yourself. It's like you don't want to like fuck with people. You don't want to like do wrong by anyone.
Of course.
Yeah. So that like adds already so many layers of pressure that I think a lot of other people who run businesses don't have, because they don't put it on themselves, because they don't give a shit about other people,
like
which is not a good thing. But it's like it's like they would give people like a product with a dented box. I mean, you know what I mean?
Like they the way they packaged it was just like it was in a plastic bag and it was coming from China.
Yeah.
So obviously it was gonna get knocked.
Right. Oh my god, just a plastic bag
I know,
full of boxes?
Yeah.
What the?
What do you even do in that situation?
We are getting a bit to the end of our time, but you know, we want to find out like what is next, like for you, because we would love to like mention just like we had our magazine launch and you performed there, and that was your first gig, right?
Yeah, and it was so good.
And it was so magical.
Your launch was amazing.
Look like your first gig.
Well, you're a performer. Yeah, exactly. Do you want to talk about like what's next, and also just like your music and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I'm definitely like addicted to creative projects. Like I can't really.
Like, what is the next project?
While I'm working on one thing, I'm already thinking about the next thing.
Totally.
So I'm definitely working on a lot of music at the moment, like being in my final year of the music industry degree, and my friend from uni who I went to America with, like we've gotten really close, and like we're like really compatible as like music partners.
Love that.
So like we're like pretty happy with the music that we're making together, and
That's so exciting.
Like we're really excited about it. So hopefully we'll be releasing some music pretty soon, and doing some gigs as well. Like we actually did like a kind of practice gig. Like we did an open mic night a week or two ago, which was really fun. The only people in the audience were the bartenders, my parents, and Ramsey.
Yes,
and the other performers.
Yeah, that's great.
But it was amazing. It was really fun. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be getting into music again in a big way, like circling back to music. And I haven't really mentioned it much, but like writing and photography are like two other really big passions of mine. And I really want to pursue photography and like photography, film kind of stuff in like a bigger way. I don't really know exactly how, but I think like it's always like a useful like tool to like be able to take photos like for a lot of different things, like for projects. So I really want to make the most of that. And I've got like a second book coming out pretty soon still.
Oh my god.
So there's music, there's hopefully more photography.
Can you quickly like just describe as well like how you published your first book and how you go about that?
Yeah, it's actually not very difficult and anyone can do it. It's like... So,
anyone can cook. Sorry, just not around doing.
Yeah, so there's this platform called Ingram Spark, which is what I use for my book. And pretty much the hardest thing for me was just like formatting my book so that it was like correctly formatted and like the way I wanted, and the way I wanted it to look as well. Because I made the mistake of actually writing up the whole book on Google Docs, and like so the page size wasn't like right, and like I just didn't really think it through when I was writing. So I had to kind of redo the whole thing in Microsoft Word, and so like if you do that right from the beginning, then like the rest of the process is pretty easy. Like you just have to like obviously have a cover, and you just like upload the file. You just pay a small fee. It's not very much at all. It's like $50 or something to like kind of publish it or like just put up the listing. And then you like get a test print, you just proofread, and I mean you proofread before that, but just make sure everything's the way you want it. And pretty much that's it. Like then you can start printing on demand, and it's great. It's like good quality, so good. Nice and affordable, and there's like a printing place for Ingram Spark in Melbourne, so it's like quick shipping and everything. So it's like it's ideal.
The cover is really good quality.
Yeah, it's this lovely
really
like like kind of like
matte,
matte, but it's like
matte.
soft and like
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just like perfect.
I'm rubbing my fingers together. Like rub your fingers together, and that's how it feels. You know what I mean? Like yeah.
Like almost like fabric.
Yeah, it's kind of like
I think it's
powdery.
Yeah, I think it's velvet laminate.
Yeah.
I think I was
it's sexy.
Yeah, velvet matte.
Yeah, I'm really excited to hear like the music that you're like making with your friend, because like that's so exciting. Like we've only heard like your music as like a solo artist, so like
True.
it just like as like a creative who collaborates, and I find like my work is better through collaboration. That's why Joëlle and I work together so much. It's just so exciting how it'll like I don't know what you guys will create. I don't know, I'm just really excited.
We're super pumped about it. Like, every time we see each other.
Do you have like a duo
non-stop
name?
Well, so we've got like my friend is Julia, and she plays bass guitar, and I'm singing and playing electric guitar. And we also have a drummer, and he's also from like our course.
Cool.
And it's kind of the name is like has been an issue like since we started. We're really struggling.
It's hard.
Yeah. Like we came up with like a temporary name, and we're kind of thinking maybe we'll just stick with it, but at the same time it doesn't feel 100% right.
Yeah, you're at that point.
But so
we can wait till it.
Okay.
We can wait till it comes out. Unless you want to say it, but
Well, at the moment it's Blue Hour Effect.
That's cool.
I do like that.
Thanks. But it's like kind of hard to understand if you don't say it clearly, like Blue Hour Effect.
Right.
Like Blue Hour Effect. I don't know. And it's a bit wordy, not sure, but we like the whole like mood of
I like the
Blue
vibe
Hour.
of it.
Yeah, that's kind of the mood of our music, I guess. Like kind of night vibes is what we're going for.
I get that from
night
the
drive.
Yeah, love it.
Like we're super pumped about it. We're hopefully gonna be recording, like we've got some demos already, so we'll hopefully be recording over the next few weeks if we're allowed to go into the studios and stuff.
Yeah. That's so exciting.
That's so
Good to hear. Yeah. All right. Well, we are going to wrap up this conversation. It's been amazing. We're gonna leave everybody with a random recommendation. This is I haven't thought about it either. This is one of our new segments. We are not going to do the other ones for this conversation, but we will do this assorted random recommendation. What is something that you think the people listening should like listen to or watch or taste or try or something like that? I mean, you don't have to start with
so many possibilities.
Let's all have a think. Moment to think.
Could it even just be something you're doing or like something you did today? It's just like, oh, nice.
I like
little share.
that.
Yeah.
The first thing that came to mind was a movie, and it's just my favorite movie.
Yes.
Which you know.
Yeah.
It's 2001: A Space Odyssey. Highly recommend, especially for like I think
I
people
still haven't seen it. I
Oh
need
my
to watch
God.
it. I know. What am I doing?
like you do have to have a bit of patience, I think, like because it is kind of a slow movie, but that's what makes it so amazing. It's great for people who just like love like wait, what's the word? A
Spectacle.
spectacle. Yes,
Yeah.
I was gonna say
Cinematic spectacle.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
just it's like beautiful to watch,
Yeah.
and it's
It's like beautiful
very
cinema.
thought provoking. Yeah. And if possible, see it in a cinema, but I don't know if
It's a
it's
bit
playing
hard
anywhere.
now,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sometimes it's at the Astor, so
Yeah.
keep
If
an eye out.
if you all sit very far apart from each other.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah.
Yeah. We can just the other day, because obviously we're all self-isolating, I needed to like get outside and that kind of stuff, but I still had a lot of work to do. So I like got out this long outdoor pillow thing I have, where you could just like have a yoga mat or something and just lay on my deck. And it was like sunny that day, and I just had my laptop outside because I have luckily, as Joelle discovered, I didn't actually know this, I have a plug outside.
That's so useful.
Yeah, it's great. We were like printing receipts outside. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, so that's my recommendation. Doing work in the sun. Getting that vitamin D.
That's good.
Yeah. What about you, Joelle?
I've started making cashew cheese again.
Oh, yes.
And
Welcome to Vegan Club.
yeah. And I made it for the first time in months last week. Because it is kind of expensive, because like buying cashews is like expensive. But I was like, you know what, I'm just going to buy a packet and just like make it.
When treating yourself as buying cashews.
Literally though. So yeah, I've really been enjoying that. And I like the first couple of times I made it, it kind of took a really long time, because I would like, you soak the cashews so they go all soft, but then you're supposed to like blend them, but like they would always like get really stuck and stuff. So I just like added a bunch more water this time, so it went a bit more like runnier and smoother, but it still worked, and it was just like more of like a dip
Like a
consistency.
spread, yeah,
And then
yeah.
I like when I find ways to make things more convenient for myself.
Yeah, that's great.
So I've been really enjoying that. So I usually just do like cashews and garlic and like any seasoning that you want. Just like mix it in the blender.
Pepper.
So easy.
So good.
All you need is a blender.
Yeah. And there you go.
So good.
All right. I think that's it. Okay. So with that, we are going to be signing out of the chat room. Oh, the camera died. Perfect timing. But Ameya, where can people find you if they want to find you, if they haven't already found you?
Well, I guess my Instagram and my website. My Instagram is Ameya's Realm, AMEYASREALM.
Yes.
And
that was a bit of a mindfuck. I was like, how do you spell?
yeah, it's a lot of vowels.
Gadre.
And then my website is the same, ameyasrealm.com.
Great.
Yeah.
What about you, Joelle?
You can find me on Instagram at Joelle with dots.
And you can find me on Instagram at The Rose Shellfish. And you can find Joelle and I together at club.scene. And, they'll like, dissonant. And all the links of everywhere else you can find us, like our big cartel store where you can buy our magazine, or our coffee page where you can buy us a coffee, will be linked somewhere through our Instagram or our website, clubscene.online. And if you enjoyed this episode, make sure that you give us like a review on Apple Podcasts, or like subscribe and follow on whatever podcast platform you enjoy listening to us on. Great sentence. And otherwise, a good way to support us is tell a friend about the podcast, and share this episode with someone who you think would enjoy this conversation, because this was a really, really great conversation.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Thank you so
No,
much, guys.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Ameya,
Very
for
honored to
joining
be
us.
here.
Yeah, I like wish we could talk more. Maybe we'll do.
Yeah,
If you guys have
cool.
any more questions for Ameya, part 2,
Let us know.
let us know. Okay.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you guys.
Bye.